Alright, y'all, welcome back to the Top Tech 50 channel. My name's 50 and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're a new subscriber, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know each time I got some new content coming out. And if you already subscribed, I appreciate you for tuning in and rocking with your boy. Alright, once again, this is Top Tech 50. Alright, so boom. So all across tech Twitter, black tech Twitter, Facebook, IT groups, cloud groups, whatever, I see a very, very common theme in all of these groups. And it is boot camps, people trying to sell boot camps, people trying to sell courses, classes. I'm seeing all of these things being marketed to people who are trying to get into IT or cyber or whatever, because it is booming right now. And I'm saying this as somebody who is releasing a course on Friday. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It's going to cost a little something. Now, this is all information that you can find on YouTube. This is all information you can find on Google. You can find all kinds of information. But usually what these boot camps are supposed to do is it's supposed to teach you the real world application of these concepts. All right. And I also believe that some people should show their work. I'm a big proponent of showing your work. Usually when I go in these groups, you'll see people post questions about real life applications like, well, how does somebody use Splunk in the cybersecurity way versus the big data way? Or how do you use a load balancer, and what's the difference between an application load balancer and a network load balancer? And a lot of times I see crickets unless I respond. And a lot of these groups are full of people who are selling boot camps and selling courses, but I don't really see them on the posts where somebody is asking them for expertise or, a brief walkthrough about a subject or a tool or a technology. And I'm not saying that like these creators aren't, as capable, but what I am saying is, some people should show their work. You can't argue results. You really can't, but the people should know the people that they're purchasing a course or a boot camp from. They should know you. They should know what you're about. And to the people who are out there purchasing these courses and these boot camps, you really need to know, or at least have an idea of what you like to do, because not all boot camps are created equal, and not all boot camps are a one size fits all. Now, you could have somebody who wants to get into IT, but they don't want to be, I guess, as technical, but there's definitely a boot camp for that. Well, some people want to be ServiceNow administrators. There's definitely a boot camp for that. And then somebody might want to be a network engineer, security architect, or something or whatever. And you're going to need the fundamental skills of IT, the technical skills of IT. And there are boot camps for that. And y'all should rock with mine. No, I'm playing. Seriously. But on a serious note, there are boot camps for everybody. And so, real quick, a little bit about me. I knew of networking before I knew how to turn on a computer or run an antivirus. I knew about VLANs. I knew the difference between like a trunk port and an access port before I could push a power button. And that's pretty much where I got my start. My first role, desktop support, at a public school system, mapping printers, doing printer issues, of course, troubleshooting software issues. And because I had a networking background, I was always placed into areas and locations that would often have the most network issues, like a switch was misconfigured, or the port itself was misconfigured, or something of that nature. And by me being there, I could tell, okay, this port is configured for this, it needs to be this. So instead of trying to hound the one guy who's in charge of all of it, instead of him trying to like find stuff, I would be like, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. And it was more efficient. And so I was already pretty strong in Linux because of the school I went to. I was a system admin. I was a network engineer. I've been a system engineer. I've been a security engineer. I've done senior of all those things, and I've done incident response. I've done security architecture. But I can really, really get down in firewalls. That is my strong suit. And SIM is my strong suit. And now it's moving towards zero trust as well. And so like I could always get down, of course, Cisco products. My first baby was the PIX, and then once that got outdated, moved to the ASA. I was a Sonic Wall SME for like the longest time. Then got into Palo Alto. I was familiar with Juniper SSGs, and then it got really, really Cisco, and then pretty much any firewall under the sun. I eventually started touching checkpoint devices and got a little bit stronger in Palo Alto. And with the SIM, Splunk, McAfee Nitro, Fortinet, QRadar, familiar with Elastic, ArcSight, Alien Vault. And not just, I can just point and click. No. I understand the SIM architecture. I do all the third-party integrations. I customize parsers to pull out the information. I get in. And so when I do my boot camps, that is what I'm imparting. I'm imparting the technical knowledge of what it would take in order to make these things go onto my prospective students. And so that's what they can come to expect from me. I also have, when I would be on Clubhouse, there would be rooms about cybersecurity, and you would see some people like they just stuck to what they know, and that's really what we should do. But then you have people that have never touched anything, or they've never logged into anything, and then when you hear them talk, they sound very unfamiliar. And with that, there's a lot of confusion with the people who are trying to get into IT, the college students, the people that are tired of working in the healthcare field. They're trying to get the best advice and the best guidance about the direction that they want to go in. But then when you have people that talk about not what they know, then it kind of confuses people. So me, I'm not a red teamer or a blue teamer or a purple teamer. I will quickly point them to somebody who does that. It's not my ministry. It's not me. I'm not a programmer. I can quickly point them to somebody who has content or who has a course. And to be honest, I'll even plug free resources. There are so many free resources out there. I remember the Black Cybersecurity Association, they were giving out security vouchers, and they were having Security Plus study groups. I'm not sure if they're still doing that. I'll need to find out. I think Professor Roger, I think he's still doing some things on the weekend. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find all the free resources that I know about. For example, like the CISSP study groups, CISM study groups, Security Plus study groups, Cisco study groups, all those things I'm going to be posting in my description, and I'm going to put them in all the descriptions across my videos. That way people can, meet like-minded people who are studying for the same thing. And that way, we can all hold each other accountable for where we're trying to go. And so my message to everybody who's trying to get into IT, trying to get into cloud, trying to get into cyber, you definitely want to trust who the person is that's giving that course, who's giving you that information. You may not necessarily need to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get a boot camp or a course, but you may need to talk to somebody who can guide you, who can be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, that's a value add. So for example, there were some IT schools that were charging, I think probably like $1,500 for, what was it, $1,500 or $5,000? It was something in the thousands. And they gave you, and I think it was like a Security Plus, a Net Plus, I think the CYSA Plus, and something else. And then they also did job placement. You know, that's not a bad deal, especially with the job placement. That's not a bad deal at all. If there's a boot camp that does job placement, especially if it can get you high 5, high 6 figures with the job placement, yeah, it's pretty much worth its weight in gold. I say go for it. Why not? Because the thing is, whenever, especially for the non-technical boot camps, quote unquote, for the non-technical boot camps, all you really have to do is learn the concepts. That's really it. You just learn the concepts, you learn some processes, and you're good to go. However, on the technical side, you can make some money before having like the experience to be the person who management comes to whenever the ish hits the fan. So those are the people who usually get paid the most. And it does take some experience to get there. However, that doesn't mean that you can't get into the technical side and at least, you know, make some decent money. However, you just need to be careful, do your due diligence, heck, talk with somebody, get a second or third opinion, even if it's from my boot camp that I'm releasing on Friday. I'm going to be teaching the fundamentals of operating systems, Windows and Linux, networking, and security. I eventually plan on adding probably Azure and AWS in the near future. I also want to do courses on the fundamentals of the SIM integrations, and Zero Trust. I want to do all those kinds of courses. If you don't know me or you don't trust me, that is fine. Get you a second opinion. But I guarantee you, if there's somebody who knows me, Randall, or somebody who knows 50, I guarantee you they'll say, that guy knows his stuff. And I can show you the way. I just want everybody to win. And most importantly, I want the people who are trying to get into IT or cyber or cloud, I want them to win, but with value. I want them to win with value. You may not have to, depending on what you're going for, you may not have to pay for a course or a boot camp. What you are paying for is guidance. And sometimes some people have the proper network to where you can get a job placement. That's really the direction we're going, especially with people who are trying to get into IT. And now that you think of it, I think I'm going to do one more. I'm going to try and do something for people who are transitioning from healthcare into IT. Randall, you haven't done anything in healthcare. Glad you asked. So, I graduated from Southern Poly, which is now the Southern Poly College of Engineering at Kennesaw State in Marietta, Georgia. And my original concentration was healthcare information systems. While I was doing that, I worked for a managed service provider on their healthcare team, and I also helped several practices become HIPAA compliant. Also worked with another managed service provider to support a number of hospitals and healthcare providers, and I also worked at McKesson for like a year and some change, doing some contract work. So I think I know a little bit about the healthcare stuff, and I definitely want to help people who are transitioning from healthcare get into IT, because I know that perfect little sweet spot that can, you know, help people who are tired of being in the healthcare industry, my mom included, you know, get them into tech. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Please be sure to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. This is Talking Tech with 50. Man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. I'll holler at y'all.